We got San Jose State Athletic Director Konya. Obviously, Jeff, good to be talking with you here today, Mountain West Media Days. And I have to say that I feel like I talk to other media folks around just around the space here. A lot of buzz with San Jose State football this year.
Yeah.
How we obviously you're seeing it from the side here, but like man, this program right now, like from what it was, maybe when you got here to what it is now, on the football side, it's taken significant strides.
Yeah, no, we're very proud of kind of where the football program is. You look at some of the metrics going to 4 bowl games in the last 5 years. That's unprecedented. Never done that. 3 straight bowl games. I don't believe that we've ever done that in our history. So, this is a pivotal year. We're blessed that a lot of our key folks stayed with the team. They enjoy their experience and the culture that Coach Ken has built. And that's attractive in the marketplace. And with some of the transfers that came in, that we're looking for more of the kind of the family first situation. And then we hear that quite a bit through the recruiting process with the students and with the coaches, that it just feels different with San Jose State, that there's an authenticity there with Coach Ken, and that, it's not loose lips when they talk about this culture and this family. And I think that leads to this notion of brotherhood, similar to what Coach Brennan had built. But I think it's accentuated here with Coach Ken. And yeah, this year right now we're picked 3rd. But there's a lot of publications that have us even higher than that. And, we're the hunted, not the hunter, which is a new role for San Jose State this year. And we're going to get everybody's best shot, and hopefully our team will be prepared to take everybody's best shot and still perform against that schedule.
Yeah, especially with the expansion of the playoffs, like it's not crazy to say like, hey, you win the Mountain West, especially what Boise State did last year. Like you get into that Mountain West title game, you have a good body of work. The league overall does pretty good. Like San Jose State has a really good chance. Like, hey, we're sitting there watching the college football selection show. Like San Jose State's in the conversation to be in that 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I think Boise State last year obviously was an incredible team. It's a little unfortunate how our game went with them. I thought we came out really strong and just let it get away from us a little bit. But in terms of how Boise State put their schedule together, is very similar to how we put our schedule together this year. If you recall, they had a game at Oregon early in the schedule. That was really a measuring stick game, and even though they lost that game, they performed pretty well. And so we have a measuring stick game early on too at Texas this year. They're probably going to be in the top 5 when we play them, and so we'll get a good understanding of what the upper echelon in the football world looks like, and how we perform against that, and that'll be an awesome measuring stick for us. But really our bread and butter is how we're going to do in conference, and I think we have a really balanced conference schedule in terms of the home and away mix, and if we perform against that, we're hopefully going to be able to bring a championship game to SEFQ, and wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, that would be something, because San Jose State's never hosted the Mountain West Championship game, and the crowd. It just seems like the crowd has the crowd support. We saw what basketball did with the NIT game, and it was just. It's not even crazy to say a rambunctious environment out there in the event center, and SEFQ definitely got loud for Boise State as well as some other games last year.
Yeah, Stanford also as well.
Stanford.
Yeah, it was a really attractive home schedule last year, but hats off to the students. They were incredible last year, and hopefully we can pick up from where we left off, and especially on football, and see even more attendance and more enthusiasm around the brand and the university and the football program and all of our sports. Quite honestly, I think we're going to have a really good fall. We have a new coach in women's soccer, a very accomplished coach. A men's soccer team is going to be Coach Tobin's final season, but he's put together what he said is one of his best talented teams, or most talented teams. And so, the cross country is going to get going, volleyball is going to get going. So it's going to be really a fun fall here.
Obviously conference realignment is kind of like in the forefront of, everything with college athletics now. There's always seems to be a domino effect or a moving part. Seems like, every month or so now. just I guess you've done I'd say a good job in bringing back the Stanford series. You guys are going to be married to Cal here for a football matchup here for a long while. The battle for the Valley's here to stay for the long term future. Just talk to me about the significance of how important it was maybe keeping those long existing rivalries in the regional matchups.
Yeah, no, one of the first questions I got when I was named athletic director several years ago was, are you going to be able to play Stanford and play Cal and those kind of things? It was important to our fan base, particularly our older alumni. They remember and harken back to those games with the Elways and those kind of things. And then, obviously not having played them in a long time, you saw the enthusiasm around the Stanford game last year. So we're just really thankful that we were able to do a long series with the Cardinal, and we brought the Golden Bears along for a home and home. But and with this unique split between the Mountain West and the Pac-12, we felt that there was still a significant opportunity with playing Fresno State, with the trophy, with the attendance, with the fan bases. It's one of our true rivals, and so. This is not uncommon to have, major rivalries that sit outside of a conference, even though we have had a conference rivalry for several years now. But, Georgia Tech, those kind of like rivalries that kind of exist, even though the conference dynamics have changed. But, we want to bring compelling football to our fan base. And really, we've had a strategic initiative over the course of the next probably 7 years of getting as many home games as we possibly can. And that really is like, getting to 7 or 8 home games rather than the 6. Because again, in college athletics, you win 70% of your home games. And so if you're able to do that, and it does take some investment, some creativity, there are going to be a couple of years here we really need to take advantage of those scheduling.
Yeah, San Jose State's got upgraded their facilities. The resources have been coming in. With support of the student athletes. Just the situation. I know it's kind of all over the place right now, but just the NIL situation and just the support from just locally. How is just athletics doing on that end, and trying to keep up with the new landscape.
Yeah, it's challenging. On one front, it's challenging because the House settlement and the aftermath of the House settlement, we were planning for it, but it wasn't solidified until a couple of months ago. So There's just a lot of contingency planning going into it, and I think we did our fair share and had prepared as well as we possibly could for this environment. I do think there's some positive aspects to it, though, like the NIL collective was a third party for most institutions that sat outside of the structure of the institution. I think most individuals that have an affinity to help our programs or want to get involved in helping on this front are, I think, feel more comfortable by giving the money directly to the institution than to a third party, certainly from like a tax standpoint or favorable tax standpoint and those kind of things. So I think some of that's going to get redirected from our, and we're so thankful for our donors and our sponsors. But yeah, we've created everything from the form to the process to discussing with the Mountain West how we were going to create kind of a fund to get this thing started. And what I've shared on almost every one of these interviews is we look at it as we're going to take part in revenue share. We opted in, but we're going to start probably in the kiddie pool rather than going right into the deep end.
Sure.
And kind of make sure that we are comfortable with it. But we will be, taking part in revenue share this year. And, we plan to continue to build on that platform moving forward and giving these opportunities to the student athletes.
Well, I feel like if you were to ask, just the fans, just heading into, the fall sports season, that there's a lot of buzz. If we would, from 5 years ago, San Jose State, they've definitely, athletics as a whole has definitely taken a stride, which is obviously, the right direction you want to be in. So, that's definitely a positive sign. And, obviously it's one of those things like, you always got to be, you got to kind of have an open, open door policy on everything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, we've had a really we've been blessed here recently with some of our performances and our results. And I just got asked the question about being named the best sports brand in the Bay Area by the Mercury News for the last 2 years. I don't think we'd won that award maybe once in our history,
Right.
and now we go back to back. That's significant. I think that just suggests that the brand is getting a little bit stronger. And it's certainly the athletic ascent is matching the ascent of the university as a whole. Some of the metrics that are coming out where we're the fourth best public institution in the country.
Yep.
We were just named again a 5-star educational place with several other campuses from California. I think all of that suggests that when you have a high caliber academic environment and you marry that with athletics and the marketing opportunity in athletics, and success yields success, that's a special relationship, and hopefully we're all going to prosper because of it.
There you have it. San Jose State Athletic Director Jeff Konya, and an exciting San Jose State fall season awaits, and it'll start with the football season, and then soccer and basketball, and everything else will follow. So definitely looking forward to documenting the progress. And thanks for the time.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us, and great credit to you guys for being here.